Namaste, good morning. A session where we are going to look at some small chapters starting from cooperative societies, moving into assessment of individual. We are going to see chapter wise. Today, my intention is to complete salaries and then move forward, right? Assessment of cooperative society. Okay. uh, Societies which are registered, it is more like a charitable trust, or in fact it will fall under mutual concerns also many times. Okay, so the registration is the only criteria to say it is a cooperative society. The only criteria is registration. Okay, and cooperative societies enjoy one deduction which is major, that is section 80p, but now that is not available for cooperative banks. Cooperative banks are asked to compete like commercial banks. Cooperative banks are also now more like a commercial bank. Okay, Tamil Nadu Mercantile Cooperative Bank, okay, cooperative society, these are. But whereas this primary agricultural center and all will still enjoy that section 80p benefit. For the purpose of cooperatives, last year Finance Act 20 introduced a concept called 115 BAD as much as 115 BAA. Okay, for a concessional tax regime. First, how to compute the total income of the cooperative society? Not very different. Not very different. It is in the same manner, same heads like house property, same heads like capital gains, PGBP, IFOS. With regard to house property, I want to tell you something which is closely related to deemed ownership concept. If a cooperative society allots house to a member, the member becomes the deemed owner. Though as per title deeds, it is still the cooperative society which is the owner. For all practical purpose, the member becomes the owner. The rent received by the member is taxable only in the hands of the member and not the cooperative society. We see urban cooperative society, eradication of poverty. They build housing blocks. They build the housing plots and allot to people who are there in slum, who are in below poverty line. Those persons in turn let out the property. Those persons in turn let out the property. It's a very famous scene in the film Mudalvan, where Arjun will walk into an house and there will be a North Indian calling himself Munusami. Okay. So, and he will ask him to vacate and ask the person to be who has been allotted. Okay. But in turn, if they let out, in turn, if they sell, they become the deemed owner. Rent is taxable in their hands, and capital gains also accrues to them. That's what we have seen in capital gains also as definition of transfer, member of a cooperative society. This apart, if it is allotted to a non-member, if it is allotted to a non-member, then it is taxable in the hands of the society itself. Only if it is allotted to the member, it is taxable elsewhere. Also, interest or any payments please understand, any payment between the member and the cooperative society comes under mutual concerns. Any payment between cooperative society and the member comes under mutual concerns. What is a mutual concern? Collected from the members, used for the members, the surplus is available to the members. Collected from the members, used for the members, surplus available to the members. Okay. The sheet will be in the cooperative society sheet. Today I will upload the yesterday and day before yesterday's video, because when I go home I don't have net. That's the problem. Okay, right, fine. Please understand. Okay, cooperative society collects from member. Okay, uses it for purpose of members, surplus available for member. Following these three aspects, okay, it is written any interest or dividend or returns from a society to members are not taxable in the hands of members. Are not taxable in the hands of member. Any interest, dividend, or any type of return, because mutual concern. It is like taking money from this pocket and putting it in this pocket. It is not an income. It is a mutual concern. So it is not taxable. It is not taxable. Cooperative bank pays interest to member, mutual concern, not taxable. Yes, friends?
Oh, nothing, sir. Not tax.
Cooperative bank pays interest to members who have kept deposits. In the cooperative bank, the member has a fixed deposit. Is it taxable, and should the bank deduct TDS tax? The answer is yes. Here, you are
It's a
not
form of
receiving
FD.
it in the capacity of a member, you are receiving it in the capacity of deposit
Deposit
holder,
holder.
customer, deposit holder. Okay, this is taxable, not received in the capacity of member, but in the capacity of depositor. So this becomes taxable. So this becomes taxable. Okay. So member, whatever between the transaction, is 194 when we do section 194, TDS on interest. we will again give 194A, we will again see this. Normally for a member not taxable, but if the member is a depositor and if he is receiving interest on the deposit he has made, then it becomes, then the capacity itself is different, so it becomes taxable. So normally these entrance fees and all, okay, is normally their business income. ஒரு cooperative society இருக்கு, their business income, entrance fees received. But generally the transactions between cooperative society and members will not be taxable. Cooperative societies can enjoy these type of exemption, and this is the exclusive provision which we need to understand. The first criteria is not applicable for cooperative banks. Now, cooperative banks are commercial banks. Let them compete with the other banks is the intention of the government. So they said this is not applicable for a cooperative bank, but a primary agricultural cooperative society can claim it. Okay, those which are there in agricultural. 100% of the profits will be allowed as deduction. 100% of the profits will be allowed as deduction. From what activity? Okay, providing credit facility to its members, okay, by a primary or cooperative society or agriculture. First thing is, it is providing credit facility. எல்லா இடத்துலயும் it is to members. Marketing of agricultural produce grown by its members. From a non-member, it becomes taxable as business income, grown by its members. Purchase and supply to its members. Okay, agricultural seeds, etc. Processing without the aid of power, again for agriculture. Collective disposal of labor to its members. Many Tirupur industries, they collectively form a cooperative society because they are running short of labor. They bring it from northern states, the labor, and collective disposal of labor takes place. Okay. Dividend or interest, please don't understand blanketly, from investment made with any other cooperative society. From investment made, okay, cooperative society to cooperative society, like how we see corporate dividends. If it is distributed ATM, here without even that, cooperative society to cooperative society investments are not taxable. Okay. This is funny. Anyhow, income from, if it does not exceed 20,000, if the total income, then house property income is exempt. That's no use. Only for primary cooperative society. This is for this milk, Gujarat Cooperative Milk Federation, Amul. Okay, engaged in supplying milk, oil seeds, fruits, etc. For them, this is applicable.
So one
Other,
doubt.
yes, friend.
Even Arvin was something
Yeah,
like this, right? Correct.
yeah, more, it's a government company, yes. A cooperative society which is engaged in other than those mentioned above, they will get a standard deduction of 50,000 and 1 lakh if it is a consumer cooperative society. Otherwise, it is a 50,000 is the standard deduction, and the rates of taxation is interesting here. Okay, they are taxable from rupee 1, like companies, other things. Up to 10,000, 10%, 10 to 20, 20%, more than 20, 30%. Read up to this, we'll go to 115 BAD. Yeah. What is that? Yeah, yeah, law. Yeah, I'll arrange law. Slab. It's slab, our friend has because if it is 15,000, it is 1,000 plus 5,000 into 20%. It's a slab rate. Similar to section 115BAA, 115BAD was introduced for cooperative society. 115BAA, other than new manufacturing companies. 115 BAB, new manufacturing company. 115 BAC, individuals. 115 BAD, cooperative society. Forgo the benefits, pay a lesser taxation. You can see the taxes are 10%, 20%, 30%. So 30% being the high. I am ready to give you tax rate of 22 plus 10. So 25.168 percentage, provided you are ready to forego the benefits. What benefits? 10AA, additional depreciation, deposit based deductions, scientifically all asset based deduction, wherever you can claim assets as deduction. Okay, and then all deductions under section under chapter 6A except 80JJAA. If you are ready to forego, I am ready to give. Okay, and you on any of these, if you have a loss brought forward, additional depreciation last year you claimed, unabsorbed depreciation is there. If you bring it, you cannot claim it. So if you forego all these benefits, I am ready to do that. AMT provisions will not be applicable. Yeah, okay. ATLA is more to do with IFSC in units located in International Financial Service Center. So yeah, ATLA also you can claim if it is there. One question always that comes is transfer charges. Okay, you can see the question itself, you will get the answer. Non-occupancy charges, that is, you have not let it out, so you are paying some charges. Transfer charges, one member transfers to another member. Common amenity fund charged by the cooperative society from its members. Is it exempt on the principle of doctrine of mutuality? Yes. Okay. Okay. Supreme Court வரைக்கும் போச்சு. வெங்கடேஷ் கேட்டிருக்கலாம். The doctrine of mutuality is based on the common law principle that a person cannot make profit from himself. Accordingly, transfer charges, common amenity charges, non-occupancy charges received by a cooperative societies from its members are exempt owing to the application of mutuality. Okay, I told you transfer fees is exempt. Transfer fees. Okay, one member transfers house property to another member. Both the outgoing member and incoming member are paying transfer fees. Both are exempt. Why? He is not a member. He see வீடு வித்துட்டா he ceases to be a member னு புரிஞ்சுக்காதீங்க. So he is selling the so that is also exempt. Whether the transfer fees received by a cooperative house from its member incoming and outgoing member is taxable or exempt. Under the bylaws, charging of transfer fees has no element of trading or commerciality. Both the incoming member and the outgoing member have to contribute. The amount was to be exclusively used for the benefit of the member. That is the criteria. Transfer fees received by a cooperative society are not liable to tax in the principle of mutuality, be it incoming member or outgoing member. In the cooperative bank, okay, and Venkatesh society, okay, both are twice questioned. Okay, this is the question. Transfer fees are received by a cooperative housing society from its incoming and outgoing member, or is it taxable? Send the cooperative. Okay, twice it has come, my dear friends, because rarely questionable area, so they took up the. Okay, look into Sindh Cooperative Housing Society. A primary agricultural cooperative society. ATP claim பண்ணலாமா? Yes. Only cooperative banks cannot claim. But primary cooperative agricultural society can claim. Offers the following information. Compute the tax payable both under normal regime and under alternative tax regime. Net income from carrying on banking business by giving credit to its members. Is ATP available? Is
Yes.
ATP available? கொஞ்சம் faster. Yeah, you can see it. அப்படியே அந்த பேஜையும் வச்சிங்க, you will be able to see. First point அதான். Okay, to its members. That is the keyword. To its members. Net income from carrying on banking business by giving credit to non-members. Taxable. ATP cannot be claimed. Income from marketing of agricultural produce given to its members. Taxable, exempt, sorry, deduction can be claimed. Deduction can be claimed. By non-members, cannot be claimed. Dividend from investment made in cooperative society. Deduction available. Dividend from other investments. Deduction not available. Interest from deposit made with cooperative society. Cooperative to cooperative deduction can be claimed, my dear friends, can be claimed. Other interest not available. LTCG taxable. LTCG taxable. First one is a case law. Directly, அதுக்கு முன்னாடி தான் the case law. Yeah, that's what I said. The last page will be cooperative. In charitable trust itself, I am putting. I'm not for one question. We need not have a separate sheet for this. It will be part of charitable trust. Sriram, is this correct? Should I take it as income?
Yes, sir. And then later we need to claim deduction.
Ah, please understand. Exemption could deduction could. There is a difference. We all know. If it is exempt, I will not take it. Deduction is after computing GTI. So first you should include this and then compute the gross total income and then give deduction. Don't put zero here. Okay. I have already told you in one of the 115 JB question where we claimed 80 IC. Okay. In the top you will include it. Deduction and versus exemption is exemption will never form part of income. Whereas deduction will form part of income, then later we will give it. Is this right? First, that is only for those who are not claiming under this ATP. Consumer cooperative societies, labor cooperative societies, for them that will be applicable. Okay. First up to 10,000, 1,000. Next 10,000, 2,000. So 3,000 plus 30 lakh, 30,000 into 30%. Okay. So up to up to 10,000, 10% plus next 10,000, 20%, and on the balance 30%.
Sir, it should be 30,000, right?
Sir,
Can you just go to that 9,12,001? Okay, sir, got it.
correct, Dana?
Correct.
Even under optional tax regime, special rates, special income taxable at special rate. Only your business income, other incomes are taxable at that optional rate. Sorry. Yeah. Irrespective of the level of income, such charge is applicable.
Sir, one doubt, sir. In case the total income is lesser than, oh, so even
Surcharge
LTV
of 10% is applicable irrespective of the level of income in the case of optional tax regime.
okay.
Oh God. அன்ச்சோ நீ வந்து salary தான் படிச்சுன்னு வந்தானா கோஆபரேட்டிவ் சொசைட்டின்னு தெரிஞ்சிருந்தா நான் அப்படி I would have mastered the ATP section. அதேண்டா ராஜ். Normal provision if the income exceeds 1 crore. 12%. It is coming under that other categories. So this will be in cooperative society will be along with the charitable trust in your Excel sheets. Okay, right. Let's okay. In terms of questioning, I just want to tell you that rarest possibility. Probably there might be a question for this December examination because 115 BAD was introduced. Probably there might be a question. For our year, there is no amendment also. And 115 BAD is useful for cooperative banks because of their other income taxable at 30%, 25%. But for a cooperative society which enjoys ATP, they will always prefer to enjoy that section instead of foregoing that section. So it will not be of that great benefit. Moving on to the next area, again, assessment of individuals. How I am going to cover the area? Okay, I am going to go chapter wise and do some basic understanding. That is more than sufficient. That is more than sufficient if you have a reasonable understanding of the chapters. We will be traveling like this. Salaries. We will see concha detail the salaries. We will understand this. House property. Overview of house property. Clubbing. Set off. Deductions. Comprehensive. This is how we are going to travel, and then finish it with optional tax regime of 115 DAC. That's how our travel for the assessment of individual is concerned. That's how I am going to progress. Wherever there are amendments, salary there is only one amendment, house property no amendment, clubbing no amendment, set of cooperative banks can set off amalgamation of cooperative banks, that is the one amendment. Okay, and the deduction some extension of time limits, whatever they have said as on up to 31/3/21, they changed it to up to 31/3/22, like housing sectors, etc. So though wherever there are amendments, we will have a stop over there and understand the amendment and progress. Otherwise, it is an overall understanding, and that is more than necessary, sufficient. That is more than sufficient. A standalone question on assessment of individuals on these chapters are very rare. Okay, our inter-level understanding is more than sufficient. So, okay. I will cover the residential status along with the last year's amendment of bringing deemed resident as a concept in the NR chapter, non-residence chapter. There you will understand the residential status section 6 and section 9 scope of total income. There you will understand in the non-residence chapter. Well, what is salary? Between the payer and receiver, there should be employer-employee relationship. Then it passes the test of salary. If that is not there, it will not come under salary. Okay, so this MPs and MLAs, for them, honorarium paid by the government has nothing to do with salaries. They are not employed by the government. Okay, so there should be an employer-employee relationship. Remember, partners are not employees. Director are employees. Directors are employees, but partners are not employees. So that's why we tax them at PGBP level itself. That's why we tax it at PGBP level itself. We are not bringing it here. Okay, remuneration to partners. Adnalda, Great City Manufacturing Company, that is that partnership firm. Remuneration paid to partners, remuneration paid to directors, which is covered under 40A subsection 2. Only directors, they are relatives. For partners, 40B is the guiding section. 40B says what can be the remuneration paid, up to 3 lakhs, 90%, more than 3 lakhs, 60%. Okay, that the 40B says. Okay, so partners remuneration is not coming under salaries chapter, it is going to PGB. Otherwise, all these things, basic salary, bonus, commission, incentive, uncommuted pensions are all fully taxable. Are all fully taxable. Whatever you receive, it is taxable. Okay, to a larger extent, though I have written due or receipt, whichever is earlier, to a larger extent, salary is taxable on receipt. 192 also supports that. TDS on salary at the time of payment, not at the time of payment or credit. You are all seeing it in your office on a day-to-day manner. 31st March, you are passing a bonus provision entry. You are not deducting tax on that. Only when it is paid on the occasion of Diwali or on some other occasion before October 31st, you are deducting the tax. Okay, right. Allowances. In this, you need to understand DA is fully taxable and HRA. HRA exemption is actual received, rent paid minus 10% of salary, 50% of salary if the accommodation is in metro, Chennai, Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata. Those are only metros. And 40% of salary if it is in other places. Repeating, Chennai, Mumbai, Kolkata and Delhi, 50% of salary. In other places, 40% of salary is allowed as exemption, balance is taxable. Other than this, you need not remember anything in allowance. Okay, as from a questionable point of view, but generally children education allowance 100, hostel allowance 300, both is for per child, okay, and only for 2 children. Okay, and remember transport allowance and all are now fully taxable. I think when you are studying intro itself, it's fully taxable. Only those employees who are physically disabled can claim a 3,200 rupee benefit. Do not worry about other allowances. But from our examination perspective, the final level, just remember HRA exemption, that is more than sufficient. Perquisites. Non-monetary benefit. Non-monetary benefit. What is that? Car provided by employer. The employer gives you allowance, we call it as transport allowance. The employer provides you the facility itself. House provided by employer. Loan provided by employer. Gift given by employer. Gift given by employer will not be covered under 56(2)(10). Remember, gift given by employer is not covered under 56(2)(10). Yeah? More than that, yeah, I got your point. IFOS or the beginning words under other four heads. IFOS starts with the words not specifically exempt, not covered under the other four. So as we said, employer-employee is covered under salary. Only when we read the provision, we understand it angiye vandirukkalam. Because there the exemption is up to 50,000, here it is 5,000. Okay? Lunch provided by employer, perquisite. Your Sodexo coupons, lunch coupons, food coupons given by employer is a perquisite. Perquisites doesn't come to you in the form of cash. It comes to you either as a benefit or sometimes as a reimbursement. Raja? Yeah, why do you say? Office prakaram perquisite not taxable. Answer according to law, answer according to office. Okay, right. So, Raja, I think that form 10 covers every perquisite. You are now taxing it. Okay, right. Rent-free accommodation. Okay, if it is owned by the employer, 7.5%, 10%, 15% of salary, it is enough if you remember 15% of salary. What are all the other things? Population of the area, if it is less than 10 lakhs, 7.5%. More than 10 lakhs, less than 25 lakhs, 10%. More than 25 lakhs, 15% of salary. Number of people walking in Ranganathan Street itself exceeds 25 lakhs. So what are we talking about less than 10 lakhs and all? So you safely remember 15% of salary. Okay, as perquisite. Employer does not own it. He himself gets it on rent and gives it to the employee. 15% of salary or actual rent paid by the employer, whichever is less. Furniture is also provided 10% of cost of furniture. Okay. Employer takes the accommodation on lease and provides it to the employee. Employer takes the accommodation on lease and provides it to the employee. What is the perquisite value? 15% of salary or actual rent paid by the employer, whichever is less. So 40,000 worth of house, rent of 40,000, I am providing to my employee. 15% of salary or 40,000 into 12, 4,80,000, whichever is less. The employer has paid rental advance, 10 months rental advance, 4 lakhs he has paid. Department assessing officer said, இதுவும் employee benefit தான். Interest is taxable. Is the assessing officer correct?
No, sir.
Why no?
Because advance is not the form of it's more like a deposit and not a.
End of the period திரும்ப receive பண்ணுவோம். Yeah, okay. I am asking you, is it taxable for the employee? Why no? So taxable சொல்றேன்.
Sir, advance deposit is taxable in this. Deposit, rental deposit is not a taxable income, right?
The law said, the law appreciated the assessing officer for his thinking, but said the rule இல்லையே. Just now you said no, you have written 15% of salary, okay, or actual, true. It is a benefit, as she was saying, employee gets a benefit. But what is there not in the rule? You cannot go ahead and tax it. Okay. So came this case law of Shankar Krishnan. Can notional interest on security deposit given to land in respect of residential premises taken by the employer and provided to the employee be included in the perquisite value of RFA? For which the court said perquisite has to be computed as per the rule 3, and the said rule does not require addition of such notional interest. Thus the perquisite value provided by the employer would be the actual amount of lease or 15% of salary. There is no question of any rental, any notional interest getting added. If it has been included in the rule, I would have written here. When I have written here, it is taxable. நீ ஏதோ ஃபைனான்ஸ் மினிஸ்டர் ஆயிடாத. இப்பயே நீ ஏதோ பிளான் பண்ற மாதிரி தெரியுது. ஏற்கனவே நேத்தி தான் சுதா சொன்னா, the most toughest people are the salaried class. Okay, so in that case they said do not add it back. That question has come once already at the case law and they have asked that question because mostly it will be okay.
Sir, ஸ்டாண்டிங் எக்ஸாம்பிள் பாருங்க சார். எஜுகேஷன் அலவன்ஸ் அப்ளிகேஷன் ஃபீஸ் கூட கவர் ஆகாது சார். அந்த 100 ரூபாய்
எஜுகேஷன் அலவன்ஸ் இஸ் இன்சல்ட் டு தி பீப்புள். 100 rupees கொடுக்கிறது. Even educational purpose, I will come to that and discuss. Medical purpose. 4 cases of exemption. Spent in government hospital, spent or reimbursed. Employer can directly spend or he can reimburse. Government hospital, employer owned hospital, okay, treatment for specified disease, treatment outside India due to lack of medical facility in India, exempt. The treatment outside India, travel expenses is also exempt provided the employee's salary does not exceed 2 lakhs. In all other cases, it is taxable. Repeating, exemptions are government hospital, employer owned, Sundaram Medical Foundation, Tata has their hospitals across the country. Specified diseases, you need not remember what it is. And treatment outside India, these are exempt. Treatment outside India, the traveling expenses will also be exempt if the employee's salary does not exceed 2 lakhs. In all other cases, medical reimbursement is fully taxable. நீங்க இன்டர்ல இருக்கும்போது ஒரு 15,000 exemption படிச்சிருப்பீங்க. இப்ப கிடையாது. It is not there. It is fully taxable. No, there is no limit. RBI limits. RBI will tell you what is the limit. Okay, income tax law does not tell you the limit. RBI will say this is the total foreign currency you can spend for medical treatment. Okay. There is a TCS provision 206C. Now tax is collectible on all these things. Any payment outside India. Motor car. Okay, the third important thing to understand is motor car. Only one thing you have to understand. Partly official, partly personal. 1,800 or 2,400. Up to 1,600 cc, 1,800 rupees. More than that, 2,400. For driver, 900. This is the taxable bill that will be allowed as a deduction if the car is owned by the employee. No change. It is for years together continuing. Leave travel concession. So those three are might be a question, might be in a lengthier question they might have it. These are leave travel concession allowed by the shortest route only for 2 children. Super Raja. So if the first is twins, only 2 children. If the first is a single child and next twins, then 3 children. Okay, creativity. Okay. ஆமா, இது கொஞ்சம் லேட்டா வந்த ப்ரொவிஷன், அதனால they have brought this. Okay, அந்த வெல்த் டாக்ஸ் லால பார்த்தேன்னா இப்ப இல்ல அந்த லா. All assets of the minor will be clubbed with that of the parents. All assets. அதோட நிமித்து. Okay. இன்கம் டாக்ஸ்ல செக்ஷன் 64 இன்ட்ரோடியூஸ் பண்ணி இருக்கும்போது they brought culture and I think, however, if the parents are separated, it will be taxable in the hands of the, and the provision wealth tax la kadiyadu. Okay, because when wealth tax was written in 1950s, this divorce was not a common parlance in India. Okay, so அந்த மாதிரி தான் அதெல்லாம். Okay, திடீர்னு தோணுது இல்ல அந்த இந்த ப்ரொவிஷன் எழுந்தவருக்கு அந்த மாதிரி இருந்திருக்கலாம். ஓகே, Loan provided, SBI rate minus actual interest. So had you gone to SBI, you would have paid some interest, pay that. Gift exempt up to 5,000. Okay. And so it is not 50,000. That's what I want to tell you. There it is 50,000. Here it is only 5,000. Same exemption. What is the exemption there? Marriage. Okay. Gift on the occasion of wedding of the employee will not be taxable. Wedding of the employee. Daughter of employee taxable. Okay. But those are okay. Inter level that can be, but at your level, okay. ESOP, FMV on the date of exercising the option. We already saw in capital gains chapter also. We already saw in buyback chapter also. What is the, I got a share on ESOP, I am selling it. What is my cost of acquisition? Cost of acquisition is cost of COA prevailing on the date of exercising the option. The company buys back a ESOP share. What is the income? Buyback price minus FMB on the date of exercising the option. So that is what is already taxed. That's why. But there is an amendment to this provision in Finance Act 2020. We will see that. Usage of movable asset, 10% of cost of asset except laptop, desktop, computers. Transfer of movable asset. You will not apply the rates of depreciation as per IT law. They have given in this section itself, in section 17 itself, the rate. Original cost minus depreciation at the rate of 50% or 20% or 10% for every completed year from the date of its purchase. No, this is not. This is rate of depreciation, not rate of tax. Exemption is up to 50 per working day. That's why Sodexo passes are for 1,500 rupees. The employees get 1,500 rupees Sodexo passes because 30 into 50, taking 30 also as working days. Educational facility. This is where I am coming to. Exempt up to 1,000 per month per child. If it exceeds 1,000, it is wholly taxable. This is where Delhi public school case. Per month, 1,000 per month per child. So 12,000 exempt. If a school fees 15,000, which the employer pays, எவ்வளவு taxable? 15,000. So in Delhi public school case, which is there as part of the material also, they said it is not a standard deduction. You cannot claim it as standard deduction. Now I have a doubt also that gift also has the same wordings. So more than 5,000 fully taxable. Clarification illa, the case illa, but that's also. In all other cases of monetary obligation, it is wholly taxable. It is wholly taxable. Please read through up to perquisite once, please. nil. Nil. No tax. ஆபீஸ்ல கொடுத்துருக்காங்கல்ல லேப்டாப் உனக்கு. சேர்ந்தோன்னு ஆப்பிள் கேட்பா போல இருக்கு. Can I have a iMac? Uh, in practice, how will they decide is depending upon your commencing destination and terminal destination. இது எல்லாமே ஒண்ணே ஒண்ணு வச்சுக்கோ. He was saying நான் perquisiteலாம் time scrutiny வர வரைக்கும் no problem. In practice, till it is taken for scrutiny. Onus is not on the employer. When I am teaching you 192, I will tell you. Employer should collect all the data. Employer becomes an assessing officer for employee. Law has made it so. HRA claim பண்றதுக்கு employee has to provide the PAN of the owner.
PAN of the owner if it's more than 1 lakh, sir.
Yeah, which means 8,000 rupees.
Yes.
Per month.
So அதனால without that யார் வேணா 1 lakh சும்மா போட்டுக்கலாம். உங்களுக்கு கம்மியா TDS போட்டு கொடுப்பாங்க.
Yeah, I understand your answer from the perspective that you are coming from Salem.
No, sir. No, sir. I was working, so upon I used to do this.
But whereas when you come from a metro or even big great cities, 1 lakh is very less. So you have to definitely, and the employer now to safeguard himself asks for PAN of all the details, all the like that. There are a lot of provisions. Let's do up to perquisite some question and come back and read terminal benefits. Question number 1. Mr. Ramesh has the following receipts from his employer: basic pay, DA, commission, okay, motor car for personal use, expenditure met by the employer, house rent allowance. Find out the HRA eligible for exemption to Mr. Ramesh, assuming that he has paid a rent of 10,000, accommodation is in Jaipur, DA forms part of terminal retirement benefits. I will also take the opportunity to do the full salary also, not only HRA exemption, full salary also. Read through. HRA received 12,000 into 12 less exempt under section 1013A. actual received, rent paid minus 10% of salary. So salary is basic pay plus DA forming part. Basic commission is not paid as a percentage of turnover. So basic pay plus DA forming part. Basic pay plus DA forming part. Three lakh 96,000 is the salary. So rent paid minus 10% of salary. Rent paid is 10,000. So 1,20,000 minus 39,600. Forty percent of salary. Just have a rough idea. This is more than sufficient. I don't see questions. Don't waste your time in these areas. Though it is not asked for, just some questions. If I do, you will just get. Shall I? Shall I? Ayush, an employee of a management consultancy firm, was sent to UK in connection with a project of the firm's client for 2 months in the previous year. In addition to his salary, the firm paid per diem allowance for the period when he worked in UK to meet expenses of boarding and lodging. Tax was not deducted at source for such allowance by the employer. Ayush did not include such allowance in the salary computed. In the course of assessment, the assessing officer sent him notice to him asking him to explain why part-time allowance received by him should not be charged to tax.
Not taxable, sir, because it is specifically for the purpose of that visit.
Not taxable. Per day allowances, or you can read the question itself and understand it's purely official. Though it is boarding and lodging, it is outside the base location. And he has been sent only for official purposes. Okay, so per day allowance paid, or even sometimes they call it as project allowance paid outside India. Per day allowance, even if it is paid inside India, it is not taxable. Okay, so these are exempt allowances. Okay, assing officer வேற சொல்லிட்டார் கண்டிப்பா exempt தான் இருக்கும். Okay. Antonio's question. Dinesh went on a holiday to Kerala with his wife and 3 children. One daughter aged 4 years, twins, son 2 years. They went by flight economy class and the total cost of tickets reimbursed by the employer 50,000. Compute the amount of LTC exempt assuming that he has previously availed the exemption only once in a block of 4 years. In a block of 4, you can avail 2. What is exempt? Yeah. No. இதே கொஸ்டின்லயே இருக்கு 4 years 2 years தான் உனக்கு புரியும்ல. Okay, fully exempt because you can see it's the second that is twins. Okay, so all the 3 children can be claimed. If it is the reverse, then 5,000 becomes taxable. Okay, if first is twins, okay, then out of this 15,000, 5,000 can only 10,000 can be exempt and 5,000 will be taxable. But in this case, entire amount is exempt.
Sir, the shortest route exempt.
It's an assumption always. It's an assumption always.
Okay.
ஷார்ட்டஸ்ட் ரூட்ல தான் டிராவல் பண்ணிருக்கான்றது அர்த்தம். Compute the taxable value of the medical perquisite received by Ganesh from his employer. Medical premium paid, taxable. Treatment of Ganesh by his family doctor, taxable. Treatment of Ganesh in a government hospital, allowed. Allowed means exempt.
Exempt.
Treatment of Ganesh grandfather, taxable. Treatment of Ganesh mother by family doctor, taxable. Treatment of Ganesh sister in a nursing home, taxable. Treatment of Ganesh brother, taxable. Treatment of Ganesh father abroad, exempt, provided it is as per RBI norms. FCRA. இல்ல இது ஃபாரின் கான்ட்ரிபியூஷன் இல்ல, ஃபாரின் ஃபெமால வரும். ஃபெமால வரும். சரண்யாட்ட சொல்றேன். Question number 5. Himesh is a manager of XYZ Limited. Company provided him rent-free accommodation in Mumbai. Gives the following details. Basic salary, DA, we should take forming part. Bonus, we should take it. Even though the company allotted him house on 1/4, he occupied only from 111. So the benefit is only from 111. The benefit is only from 111. Okay, not from 1/4. The benefit. Compute the taxable value of perquisite. SB, compute the value of perquisite if Himesh is required to pay a rent of 1,000 to the company. KC, compute the value of perquisite if the company itself has taken it on lease at 5,000 and Himesh pays 1,000. Case 4, compute the value of perquisite if the company has provided furniture and 2 air conditioners. The rent paid by the company for air conditioner is 500. The furniture is provided from 1st January. However, Himesh is required to pay 1,000 to the company for the use of that unfurnished accommodation. Read through. First, computation of salary for RFA or concessional accommodation. Everywhere, whenever we are computing the salary, computation of gross salary, we take full DA. But what for working notes, for various other exemption, DA forming part should only be taken. Okay. First note is date of availing the benefit will only be considered and not date of providing the benefit. So for 5 months only I will take. Bonus also they are given per month. HR இது நான் RFA தான் கம்ப்யூட் பண்றேன். கம்ப்யூட்டேஷன் ஆஃப் salary for RFA தான் நான் பண்றேன். For the period of availing. If they give the accommodation from 1st September, you will do it only for 7 months. Huh. No, no, no. Only for that period. That's what I'm saying. The benefit is computed as 10% or 15% of salary. The benefit is for the period it is provided to you. I mean, it is available. Case A. Okay. Taxable value of perquisite 15% of salary. Yes. Case B. Compute the value of perquisite if Mr. Himesh is required. So this is known as concessional rental accommodation. So it is not free. RFA means rent free accommodation. Here the company is collecting 1,000 from him. So it is popularly known as concessional rental accommodation. Actually, friends, we started doing this question. Mr. Himesh is a manager of a company. The company has provided him rent-free accommodation, basic salary, dearness allowance. You should only take 30% for RFA computation, bonus 3,000. Even though the house was allotted from 1st April, he occupied it from 1st November. Only from 1st November we should. Whenever the benefit is provided, is not, whenever I have availed is only important. Whenever I have availed is only important. So calculate taxable value of perquisite. Calculate the taxable value if he pays a rent of 1,000. That's what we have been working without understanding that you were not there in the meeting. Okay. So this is the answer so far. Please take it down. I'll wait. Rent paid அது இல்ல இல்ல where the employer takes the house on rent and provides it to the employee. I'll come to that case. Please do it. I'll just. Progressing.
1 minute, sir.
Yeah,
Last
take your
part.
time. Take your time. I'll wait. Okay. Okay, friends. Compute the value of perquisite. If the company has taken this accommodation on a lease rent of 5,000, this is what she was asking me. This is a case where the company itself takes it on lease, okay, and provides it to the employee, okay, right, and recovers 1,000 from the employee. Case C, where company has taken, where employer is a better word, employer has taken the accommodation on rent and provided to employee. 15 percentage of salary, which we all know is 26,325. Actual rent paid by employer 5,000 into 5, whichever is less. Yes. Rent recovered 1,000 into 5. Case D. Rent paid by the employer. Okay. The sofa said Mr. Himesh is required to. So compute the purpose. Okay. For accommodation, 15% of salary, which we all know comes to 26,325, and 10% of cost of furniture for 5 months. 10% of cost of furniture, not the book value, cost of furniture. 25,000 into 10% into 5. Air conditioner lease charges for 5 months, 500 per month each. 500 into 2 into 5. Yes, rent recovered, we all know 1,000 per annum. 10% is per annum. Sorry, friends. 5 by 12. So it will not be less 5,000. It will be 32,367. Find out the taxable value of perquisite from the following particulars in case of an employee to whom the following assets were sold in June 21. Original cost minus depreciation at the rate of 50% for computers and electronic equipment, 20% for motor car. In both these cases, written down value method or diminishing balance method, and 10% on straight line basis for other assets. That is the provision. That is the provision. Car purchased in May 19 for 872, given to employee for 515. Laptop purchased for 122 500, given to employee for 25,000. Furniture purchased for 35,000, given to employee for 10,000. Okay.
So why 50, sir?
Huh?
Par, sir.
Car, sorry. Laptop on the second. 122
Ah,
factor. Sorry.
Sir, here too the concept of 180 days will
No, no,
come, no,
no, no.
sir?
No, it is only from the date of purchase you are providing, so no concept of 180 days. The methodology is itself no, not was on 31st March. From the date of
Okay.
purchase we are providing.
Okay, sir.
Yes. Car, yeah. Nah, my products from அதேதான். ஸோ பிறந்ததுலேருந்து அவள் அப்படிதான் இருக்கா. என்னுடைய பார்ட் ரொம்ப கம்மி. X Limited provides the following particulars to its employees. So it's a combination. Accommodation taken on lease for 20,000, 10,000 recovered from salary of Mr. Y. Furniture for which the higher charges paid by X Limited is 5,000 per month. No amount is recovered. Motor car with 1,200 cc owned by the company, given to Mr. Y, the employee, for official and personal purpose. All expenses, including driver's salary, are met. Gift voucher 15,000 on his birthday. Compute the perquisite value to tax, assuming that the salary is 10 lakhs. Go ahead. Furniture, you can add it along with the RF. Hmm? You can do it in RFA, no problem. Rent out at 30,000, add furniture no porla 60,000. Correct, Sudha. One additional thing which I will do is I'll put it in the group, my interlectures on salaries. If at all you are stuck somewhere, you can just go and refer it. If at all you are stuck somewhere, okay, if at all you want to listen to it once, you can have a quick, or if you want a particular concept, rent-free accommodation as a concept, okay, there it will be very detailed. I would have worked out some 10 questions on that. So you can listen to that. Salaries alone, I will put the interlectures. Other chapters we have house property and all, we are going to cover it, and we have covered it enough in the various arenas. Clubbing fully I'm going to cover. Set off I'm fully going to cover. Okay. For salaries and deductions, I will also give you my interlectures. I'll in the YouTube I'll make it as unlisted, and give to you the link so that you can have a look into it. Then comes at the time of leaving employment. Leaving can be resignation, retirement. Okay, right? All terminal benefits, in fact, all benefits, if they are paid to the legal heir of the deceased, it is exempt. The employee dies and the family members receives it, it is exempt. Other terminal benefit, but that doesn't mean assessment is not taken. Assessment will be continued in the name of the legal heir. Okay. The first and the foremost is the gratuitous payment the company makes, which is gratuity. The third is the important one, actual received 15 by 30 into last 10 months average salary into completed years of services or 20,000. If the employee is covered under Payment of Gratuity Act, those who are blue collared employees, those who are working in factories, etc., for them 15 by 26, okay, into last drawn salary into completed years of services. If it is more than 6 months, round off to the higher side, less than 6 months, round off to the lower end. Uh, huh? Part thereafter round up in excess of 6 months, round off to the higher side. 21 years 4 months. 21. 21 years 8 months. Other rounded off. Up to 6 months. More than 6 months, round off to the higher side. Commuted pension depends upon are you in receipt of gratuity or not in receipt of gratuity. In receipt of gratuity, eligible commuted pension into 1 by 3, not actual commuted. Whatever you are eligible to into 1 by 3. If you are not receiving gratuity, I give you a more exemption into 1 by 2. Leave encashment up to 3 lakhs. Maximum you can take 30 days. Okay, right, in a year. Okay, அது ஒரு பெரிய இது பெனிஃபிட் தான். 30 டேஸ்க்கு மேல ஆர்டிகல்ஸ்க்கே லீவ் கொடுக்கறது இல்ல எம்ப்ளாயிஸ்க்கு எங்க. ஓகே, so there is no big thing over there. சும்மா அது okay, inter level more probably we would have done more. VRS compensation up to 5 up to sorry friends 3 lakhs நான் காப்பி பண்ணி போட்டேன். இது 3 lakhs up to 3 lakhs 5 lakhs, sorry, up to 5 lakhs, so not 3 lakhs, up to 5 lakhs. I'll change it in the main material. Up to 5 lakhs actual received, salary per month into 3 into number of years of completed or number of months of remaining service. Just read through the terminal benefit. PF we'll go a little later because there are amendments. எவ்வளவு வருஷம் வேலை செஞ்சேன்றது தான்டா. ஏன்டா அவளுக்கு ரொம்ப யோசிக்கிற? நம்ம டேட் ஆஃப் ஜாயினிங் தான். பிறந்ததுல இருந்து completed year of service is how many years you have been employed. Leave the fractions. That's what it means. I mean, the eighth question. Mr. Akash retired on 1st November, receiving 10,000 as pension. On 1st January, he commuted 50% of his pension and received 5 lakhs. This is not eligible. This is what he has commuted. Eligibility is 100, 10 lakhs. ஆனா நான் 50% தான் வாங்கிட்டேன். You are required to compute his taxable pension. எல்லா government employee everything is exempt. Everything is exempt. Private sector employee receiving gratuity. Private sector employee not receiving gratuity. Hmm? Yeah, 1/3. சொல்ல brilliant. No problem if you don't remember these things. In receipt of gratuity means 1/3 of the pension eligible to commute. So what happens is 5 lakh divided by 50 into 100 into 1/3. 5 lakh is 50%. What is 100% on that 1/3? commuted means I am eligible for a pension of 10,000 or 15,000 per month. I decide that I don't want to get it every month, either partly or wholly. I want to receive it as one lump sum. So I say I am commuting my pension instead of receiving it monthly. I want to accumulate it and receive it as one lump sum. This commutation can be for whole pension, or I decide 25,000 எனக்கு pension. அதில் 10,000 every month I will get. So somewhere around 2/3 of the pension I want to commute. That's what is known as commutation. That is by a annuity formula. That is, they give what will be the average lifespan. Based on that, what you would have received as pension. அது ஒரு annuity table போட்டு இன்னித்த present value க்கு they will pay you. Pensionனாலே after employment தான். The rest of the 50% he will receive it every month. See, his pension per month is 10,000 per month. He says, I will receive 5,000 for my lifetime. Another 5,000, let me commute it. Commutation is not beneficial in practical world because pension keep increasing, especially government employees. Once you commute, you will lose that increment and all. So people will not commute. Ninth question. Huh? Harish retired after completing 26 years, 8 months of service and received 12 lakhs at the time of retirement. Basic salary, DA, commission, bonus. Bonus வராது first 3 தான். Okay, bonus is not a salary. Okay. Compute is taxable gratuity, is a private sector employee covered under POGA, not covered under POGA. Kadasi government employees not at all taxable. Very good, Raraja. பரவாயில்ல, படிச்சிருக்கேன்னு தெரிஞ்சுட்டு. I have given the table. I have given the table here also. Well, it's okay. கடைசியா கொடுத்திருக்கேன் அந்த table. What is salary? Input 10 months, okay. Or actually I can take 40,000 so that எல்லாமே equal தான். Okay. Full DA if it is covered under POGA. Okay. Full DA if it is covered under DA. Okay. POGA. Forming part if it is not covered under POGA. ஆமா. I will take it for retirement. பாரு definition பாரு. Basic pay plus DA plus commission as a percentage of turnover. Bonus only RFA க்கு தான் அதெல்லாம் வரும். All monetary benefit.
Yes, sir.
26 and 26 and 8 months. For not covered, only the completed years. Yeah, charitable trust level. Till company you can. ஐயோ அது மறக்க வேண்டிய ஒரு விஷயம் என் வாழ்க்கையில. ஆமாப்பா ராஜா, காத்தால 4 மணிக்கு போய் உட்காந்து நொந்து போயிட்டேன் ராஜா. இல்லையா அது திவாலி தான். நோ நோ நோ. இல்ல இல்ல இல்ல. One forgettable day of my life, or one forgettable 3 hours of my life I did. Okay, so got it, Raja. Mr. Agarwal retired on 112 after 20 years of service, receiving salary of 10 lakhs. Other details are basic salary 10,000, increased from 1.4. Dearness allowance 6,000, 60% forms per. Commission is not fixed percentage, it is just a particular amount. Bonus, leave availed for 80 days. He was entitled to 30 days. You are required to compute his leave salary assuming he is a government employee, non-government employee. Government employee fully exempt. So he is retiring on 112. Now, okay, December. So November, October, September, August, July, June, May, April. His salary would be 10,000 per month. Remaining 2 months, his salary would have been 8,000 per month, basic salary. Repeating, I want, whenever we say average salary, we need it for 10 months. Then we can divide it by 10 to find out the average. Okay, how to find out? He has got an increment on 1/4/2021. So 8 months his salary will be 10,000. April to November. Okay. The 2 months of Feb and March, his salary would have been 8,000 basic salary. Commission will not come, bonus will not come. 480 days, so dividing it into months and then multiplying with average salary.
Sir, unavailed period is 120 days, right? 30 days per year into 20 years minus availed for
Leave
480.
availed during the service. Oh, leave availed for 480. Sorry. How many years of service? 20
20.
years. Sorry. 20 into 12 minus 480 days. 20 into 30. 30 days into 480. 20 into 30 minus 480. Okay. We'll continue tomorrow morning. We'll complete salaries. Tomorrow is that important provisions of three important provisions with of recent times. One is ESOP. Another is contribution of employer, interest accumulation. Those three are very important to understand. We'll complete salary, house property, clubbing set off tomorrow.
Thank
Unavailed
you, sir.
period is how many years of service? How many days he can avail per year? So 20 into 30, availed is, so unavailed is 120 divided by 30 days. I mean, 120 is 4 months. Meet you tomorrow, friends. All the best.